Welcome to Streams of Income, hosted by best-selling author and entrepreneur Dr. David Powers, where we discuss streams of income, passive income, residual income, and even why there are dinosaurs and zombies in this intro. Fasten your seatbelts and get ready to dive in.
Welcome to the Streams of Income podcast. This is season 2, and we're with Kelvin Crosby. Met this guy the other night and on another broadcast. And matter of fact, if you've seen episode 1 of season 2, he was on there for a little bit. And Kelvin, I reposted the Unleashed podcast, and so you were on there for a few minutes. And I'm not even going to warn people what this is all about because I want them to be in for a surprise treat, and I think they're going to enjoy it. So. Kelvin, man, tell us a little bit about yourself, and then if you slow down, I'll ask questions.
Okay. Well, I tell people it's so good to see you, even though I can't see you. Isn't that a beautiful day in the neighborhood? And I'm so excited that you are here. And I tell you, I'm excited to take your audience on this journey. Have you ever gone through an experience where you did not know where you were going and you got lost? That's the story of my life every day. I'm always lost. I'm always trying to figure out, what did you say? Huh? Because when I was born hard of hearing. And when I lost my vision about 5 years ago, I became deafblind. And deafblindness is a spectrum where you lose your hearing and your vision. And if you don't have to be completely deaf and you don't have to be completely blind to have the label deafblindness. The question is how do you live beyond that?
Okay.
Because so many people will live with deafblindness, but they get stuck within that pain point, that suffering, that character that says, no, you can't do that. You can't do that. And so I decided to make that not my case. I decided I'm going to live beyond this challenge. And I've decided that I'm going to take my deafblindness. I'm going to invent a product. I'm going to make pottery and sell it to the world and help people live beyond their challenges. Like my main thing right now is helping people not commit suicide, because I tried to take my life 12 times, and
we're glad it didn't work.
Exactly, and it was that 12th time when God said, "I got a plan for you. I want you to take this deaf blindness, and I want you to go change the world."
Yeah, I like that.
And so that is, in a nutshell, who I am. So people know me as I am the deaf blind potter. Or people know me as the inventor of the See Me cane, which is a lighted blind cane that you can see from 100 yards away, because it's estimated that 1 of every 3 visually impaired people get hit by a car. That's 87 million visually impaired people will have this experience.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. So you've got it's a light up cane. So when you're walking down the sidewalk, crossing the road, everything, that's pretty cool.
Yep. It looks like a lightsaber, but if you use it as a lightsaber, you void the warranty, man. Ryan Meager, he goes, "Oh yeah, it's a lightsaber." He says, "Oh, my son would love that." I'm like, "Nah, that sits clearly in the warranty. Not used as a lightsaber."
You might have the Force, but don't use the cane for that.
Exactly. That's
pretty cool. So I tell you what, one of the things I was wondering about leading up to this interview, and I'm sure other people may be wondering, what kind of tech are you using that's making everything this easy for you?
Well, I don't know if it's easy at all for you, What's crazy right now is I'm struggling right now because 1 year is not working because I got an ear infection in that one. So there's no hearing aid in that one. So I actually have you really, really loud, and I'm hoping it's not coming on the mic. And then I have a hearing aid in my right ear, which my headphone is on that, so that I can hear what's happening on the screen. I turn off looping on my mixer, so you're not gonna be able to hear my screen reader. But I use a screen reader to be able to communicate on the computer, so that I just navigate the computer, whatever. And that's how I build websites, make TikToks, do all of that stuff. So
that's pretty amazing.
So keep it simple.
In church yesterday, I helped teach financial peace at church, and one of the ladies said she had heard a quote. Couldn't remember who said it, but the quote was basically, if you live in the United States versus other parts of the world,
Mhm.
you have no excuse not to be successful. And so,
Amen.
man, I'm hearing you talk, and I'm thinking, the new quote needs to be, if you got all five senses, and you got no excuses not to be successful in the United States. Because I mean, Brian
I
was
don't push
telling me
it that
about you,
hard,
and
but I'm with you there.
yeah. All right, so let's start with the cane, because
Yep.
your pottery probably is a much deeper subject. We'll with that in a second, but the cane. So you patented this and are selling these now.
Yeah, so we had to pull it off the market. We had a failure in the production line. So we pulled it off the market, but we'll be back and running by the end of the year. And I we started selling them last year, and then it had some issues, and now we're almost done with the last part of the manufacturing process. So we should be able to start mass producing by the end of the year.
Okay.
And so I do people are I get emailed daily. Where's the see me gain? I'm like, come on, man. I'm trying to make sure this works well for you,
Yeah.
and I'm trying to make sure I don't get sued.
Yeah.
And like
Yep.
it's like it's I said just hold your horses, this never existed. We never had a defensive walking tool at visually impaired people in the world. Like
Yeah.
this is the first time in the world that blind individuals finally have something that we can say, you saw me from 100 yards away.
Yeah.
Oh, don't be doing that no shenanigans and saying, no, you didn't see me. I have lighted and I was bright. And you can see it from a
Oh
distance.
yeah.
And
Man.
so yeah, so in regards to that, I got 1, 2, 3, we're working on our fourth patent now. Um we start working on folding. We started working on a design for folding last week, but we'll probably finish the folding version cane in 2 years because it takes
Okay.
forever to.
Yeah.
When you go invent a product, and then you gotta tool it, you gotta get it right, you gotta get testing, you gotta make sure it works, and then it just takes forever. Like it took
Yeah.
me to get to this point almost 10 years.
Okay.
Uh,
Yeah. So time to market is, I mean, I assume that's fairly common, like a decade for
yeah,
time to market.
yeah. And so yeah, so we've been so now so what's cool about the Seaman Cane, I've always had this dream where I would take my invention at a blind person and then develop it at a blind person and then hire blind individuals to manufacture it.
Oh, that's good. I like that.
And that's exactly what's happening in Louisiana. So I partner with a company called Louisiana Association for the Blind. They're the number one copying paper for the government. They provide all the copying paper for all
Oh,
of
I've
the
seen
federal
those
government.
labels before.
Yeah, and so they're cut, put together, all assembled by blind people, and they have a whole system at their facility where they're going to create a whole floor that is solely designed to manufacture semi canes, and
Man.
so super excited about it, and we're working closely together and really making sure that every stage of the semi cane process can be done without your vision. It's not
Yeah.
easy,
That's cool.
and you're creating extra work for yourself, but how amazing is that marketing strategy? You know,
Yeah.
you know.
That's pretty
I,
good. That's genius.
right.
Yep.
It's like, yeah, come on, man, let's do
Yeah.
this.
That's
And
like a
so yeah,
win-win-win.
exactly. And
I think
so
one of the
right,
coolest things about this, I mean, a seeing cane is one thing, it assists people, but
yeah,
this is a device that will actually save lives. I mean,
exactly,
that's a big difference
exactly,
maker there.
yeah. And the word I use is called defensive walking.
Yeah.
See, for the longest time, we've had canes where we as individuals, the visually impaired, use our canes to navigate, right?
Okay.
To help us stay safe ourselves. But this is the first time where we have a cane that helps us navigate, but as well helps us use techniques of the light to get people to say, oh, that's something interesting. Oh, that's an alert. Oh, that's a flash. Oh, what? And that person, that blind person, I struggle with this. I don't do this very well. I can't really hear sound very well.
Yeah.
But for a lot of blind people that are really good at hearing, and they can hear the sound being safer. They can
Yeah.
hear the car slowing down. They can hear people kind of moving around them. They can hear it because they know they flashed their cane or they did something with their cane that brought attention to them, and now they can navigate in that environment safely.
Okay, man, that's awesome. And
Oh,
so hopefully within a few months you'll have the bugs ironed out, and this one's going to
yep,
be on the market.
exactly. It'll be version 4. Movable handle. It has all the tactile communication systems in it. It has a lot of room to grow. We're putting in the chips that are gonna really be able to last for about 10 years and be
Yeah,
able to really improve it. I'm not sure how crazy we're gonna get with it, but we'll be able to be able to communicate with cars with it. We'll be able to change lights. We'll be able to do all sorts of stuff.
yeah,
And give the power back to the blind individual that they never had. And
yeah.
so, yeah. So
Man,
I'm,
I'm
I'm
just seeing my mind is spinning on the potential here. I mean, like DOT coming on board to help with this kind of stuff, and like insurance providing to pay for them. I mean, that's
yep.
man, the potential here is so huge. I mean,
No,
man, I hope this makes you incredibly wealthy.
I'm hoping. I'm hoping. I
Yeah,
mean,
you're open to
I
helping people and getting
I
wealthy.
mean, I'm still eating rice and beans and rice and beans. So I mean, I've been eating that for 9 years. So it's become I know how to cook in many different ways. Uh,
Yeah, that's how you
but
stay on a budget.
yeah, yeah. But it not. I think that's where being okay in your being uncomfortable.
Yeah.
When you're uncomfortable, are you okay in that spot, in that unknown? I mean, I mean, I truly believe when you're an entrepreneur, it's like being completely blind in an environment,
Okay.
and
Yeah.
you don't know where you're going, but you got to put your hand out. You got to take a step. And what are you gonna find? You might find yourself a couch. Oh, you might find yourself a walk path. You might find a curb. I mean, that takes you places. You
Yeah.
then figure out how do you use that? How did that work? And the next thing you know, you didn't learn the whole map for that entrepreneurial idea that you have.
Yeah.
And little do you know, there it is. And you never have to see it. You just walk it. You know,
Yep.
I mean, it truly is legit. I feel like it's all. I feel like that is what entrepreneurship is all about.
Yeah. Oh yeah, man, that's good stuff. I might as well just let you start preaching. I mean,
But I
I am
think that's
one that
good.
I'm perfectly happy in my uncomfortable. I mean, it took me a long time to get here,
Yeah.
but I mean, you can't see me, but I'm an ugly guy. I've got
Hey,
a
you're looking
nice
great to
round bald
me.
head.
What? Hey,
You
you could have said you had long blonde hair with a long white beard, and
oh
you
man, my beard
you
is
look like
mostly
a.
white.
Hey, I what was it? I said to this lady. Oh, I was at a. Oh, I forget where I was at. I was at a restaurant or something, and she was like, "How much can you see?" I said, "Well, you look so beautiful." I could tell by her voice that she didn't, but but I was like, "You look so." She gave me discounts and more discounts. I'm like, "I'll keep milking this. Let's just keep milking."
Yeah. I mean, I'm the kind of guy that when if little kids cross the street when they see me coming, I'm okay with that.
No.
I'm comfortable.
Oh man, that's a visual right there, people. You know that is something.
Imagine an outlaw biker, and that's what I look like.
Oh man, you've changed your image in my head multiple times now, so I'm not sure what to believe anymore. And so I think I'm gonna take the biker one, and I'm gonna think that you braid your beard a little bit and it's kind of
Oh
hanging
yeah,
down. Yeah, yeah, and you got little bows on there, you know.
I've done that. I've done photo shoots. I do some alternative modeling, and
Uh-huh.
because beard
Oh, wait,
tattoos,
wait.
all that kind of stuff.
Alternative modeling. People, do you understand what he just said? Alternative modeling. So what does that mean? Because does that mean like you have half clothes on, half clothes off? Like I'm not sure what that means. I mean,
It's a category of modeling for weird people.
Okay.
Like for me, I do the beard, bald head, tattoos, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
And like girls with tattoos that they would fit into that.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, but yeah, I've got pictures of me with bows in the beard and flowers and everything. Even Christmas lights.
Oh man, this is go haywire, man. This is
Oh
I
man.
you press record, you know what you're getting yourself into.
Oh, that's what I like. I think my fans like the unedited, have no idea what's going to happen.
Oh man.
All right,
Oh
man. So we
boy.
hit the canes and
Yeah.
pottery. So that's
Yeah.
something that I have zero experience with. And
Yeah.
so educate me on what you do with that.
So I've been doing pottery since I was 16. And then I lost my vision at age 19. Or became legally blind. I lost all my clarity 5 years ago. So just to clarify the details there.
Okay.
But when I went to deaf blind school at Helen Keller National Center, they had me get on the pottery wheel because they knew I knew pottery enough to be able to feel it. But I didn't trust it. I still trusted my vision. And then
Yeah.
said, no, they did put me on blindfold and said, now throw. I'm like, no, like I ain't gonna do that. And then, I mean, I'll never forget getting so frustrated and taking that clay and just throw it across the room. And then next day I come back and I was able to get it centered and make something out of it, but it was still garbage. And but it took time and time and time again. And then, but the thing is, healing started happening
Yeah.
because I was able to start healing through my deaf blindness.
Okay.
And then, so I graduated there, went to college, got a degree in communication, got a minor in ceramics, became a kind of a master in ceramics. And then, um, when I was 28, lost the clarity in my left eye. And then when I was 32 is when I lost the clarity in my right eye. And that's when COVID hit. So at this point, I was already working on the CME cane. I'd been working on my brain communication cane, where you use your brain to communicate to your blind cane to be able to guide you anywhere you want to go.
Okay.
But I lost all
We're
my.
going to talk about that in a minute.
No, not worth it, because I'm not going to finish it.
Okay.
So, um,
I'm thinking like Elon Musk, brain
oh yeah,
implant kind of thing.
it is an Elon Musk invention. The problem is I only had $500,000 to do with it.
Oh, okay.
So
Yeah, that seems like a
you
high
need a
dollar
lot more
prototype.
money, and I couldn't get investors to invest in a small market where there really wasn't a lot of profit.
Ah, I
But
see.
um, when I was going through there, um, so I had lost all the clarity in my vision. Our first foster son that we've ever raised, he ran away from home on Father's Day. A month later, I lose all the clarity in my vision. I don't have any funding. This is December 1st, 2020. And I'm at this point in my life, like, how am I going to move forward? Maybe I should sell coffee. I'm learning about private labeling, listen to Ryan Rieger. He doesn't know that I've been following him for years,
You've been
but
stalking him.
I've been stalking him a while. I mean, bigly, right?
I
Wide
did the
open
same thing
eyes.
until we became friends.
Yeah. And so, and then next thing you know, we put my first video on TikTok called The
Yeah.
Deaf Blind Potter. And within 24 hours, my life changed.
Wow.
I went from 0 followers to 10,000 followers to 3 days, 1.4 million views on my third video to growing over 100,000 followers. But by end of January 2020, we had one video hit 15 million views. I
Wow.
grew over 200,000 followers. Next thing you know, I'm just running for the races, having to start a pottery business.
Yeah.
And it was this that made everything just blow up. I don't want to live anymore. So I'm going to hike in the mountains, and I'm going to go up in the mountains, and I'm going to take away my life.
Yeah.
I'm going to have the bear attack me. But that 12th time that I did this is when God said, Kelvin, 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 I have a plan for you.
That's amazing. When God says your name 3 times, man, you better listen.
Oh yeah.
I
Oh
see
yeah.
that happen in the Bible.
Exactly. Exactly. And then literally 4 months later after that, I find myself in the Jordan River in Israel, dipping not once, twice, but a third time. And
Man,
the brothers around me that were dipping me to be healed from my deaf blindness, they all heard that same voice. Kelvin, 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 I want you to go out to the world and share your story of your deaf blindness. But it's not going to be easy. You're going to face suffering through the whole journey. But you lean into me and find joy in that perseverance. And that perseverance is going to build a character that will have so much hope in you.
yeah.
And I tell you, I ran with that so strong. I mean, granted, I had some other issues. I got addicted to pornography and all that stuff, and I had to overcome that. And then how did the blind person get addicted to pornography? That's a whole different conversation.
Yeah.
But
Well, that is a whole different one, man.
yeah, but the key thing is God kept molding me.
Yeah.
See, I love to tell people I have this message that I do. It's called the good potter, and I
Hmm.
take you on the journey of a good potter, which is God Himself. But I take you on my story and how I kept messing up His plan for my life.
Yeah.
And there are times where I'm looking beautiful as a beautiful piece, but I do something stupid and it totally messes up the whole piece. And forever, I will have to live with that mistake in that piece. But the key thing to any beautiful pottery, the top and the bottom are always centered to
Yeah.
make anything beautiful. And if that, God can always keep you centered if you allow His hands to stay on you.
Mm.
And this right here is what changed everything.
Yeah. That's
And
pretty amazing.
I started selling pottery, and pottery kept going. Next thing you know, people are buying it, and I'm getting enough money to hire an engineer, and we finished the semi cane. Um, I did not get an investor until last year.
Yeah.
For the semi cane, and this is the prior to that, I was 100% funded by pottery sales.
Wow. Okay.
Um,
That's pretty neat.
um,
Your story makes me think of Paul. I mean, because Paul prayed for God to take away his ailments, and
mhm,
God basically told him that your ailments part of what you're using to reach people.
yeah, yeah. I mean, it's an incredible experience when you realize your pain is for His glory.
Yep.
It allows you to just do things that you would never do. I mean, why would I take a foster kid that has trauma to the baseball game, knowing that he's gonna give me shenanigans all the way through the whole process, and scream at me and leave me behind and abandon me in the middle of nowhere
Yep.
because I knew if I could get to the seat and experience the game with him, we would scream and yell and holler and root on the Padres and have a blast.
Yeah.
And I would be able to plant a seed.
Yeah.
Doesn't who knows how well that's gonna get watered, but I at least planted the seed so it can start being watered.
Yeah. Man, that's good stuff. So you're selling the pottery, the cane. We talked a little bit about like a pottery class. So you're doing
Yeah.
like therapy
So
classes for other people?
yeah, so this is my dream. If you go to deafblindpotter.com, my pottery website, is you'll find a link to the short film documentary of my dream.
Okay.
And this is
I didn't
why
know
it's
there was
going.
a documentary, man. I got to send people over there.
Yeah, we'll put on a film festival out of I think the UK or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't remember. But one of my videos that hit 15 million views. That one is when I got this guy to do a short film documentary of me, and his whole thing was he wanted me to start my school, my Deafblind Potter school. And
Okay.
as I have kind of grown into the Deafblind Potter, and I started realizing, like, God, how do you want to use this? And what it's kind of evolved into is helping people live beyond their challenges. And the other thing is I'm a big conspiracy theorist. If you go to my radio show, you'll see it all
Oh
about
man,
it.
see, we got to have another podcast to talk about the porn addiction and conspiracy theories in the same podcast.
Hey, we can have that conversation. I'll take you down a rabbit hole, and we can get into the whole brain control. We can get into the whole
Oh man, this feels
how,
like a Christian version of the Joe Rogan show.
maybe, yeah. but um, but as I started seeing what I wanted to do, and I was like, I live in San Diego, California, the worst state in the world besides New York. Um, but I'm like, people need to heal through their pain, and they need to do it from the ground up. No better way than finding a piece of land for you to dig up that clay, repurpose it, give it life, and put your pain into that piece,
Yeah,
and then put you on the potter wheel, and you get to watch me mold, and you get to make that piece with me. And you get to feel my pain, and you get to feel your pain, and we heal through your pain.
yeah.
But then you get to walk home with that beautiful piece. And
And
as a
have it done every
reminder,
time you look at it, man. You remind.
and you're
You know?
reminded that I can do this too. We did this together. We walked through this pain together. And then um that way people can start healing. The other part to my dream is to create a facility where people with disabilities, intellectual disabilities or deafblindness or blind, can come in and create a career making pottery
Yeah,
and telling their stories, marketing their stories, pushing it out, do all that stuff, and they build their own brand.
yeah,
And and they become employees of my company, Living Beyond the Label. This way, they get the best health insurance they could possibly have. They make an income, and they can get off the government Social Security stuff. And this is where, for me, like, this is my dream, is to get these people with disabilities off the government, because the
yeah,
government at the end of the day is going to screw them over.
yeah,
They're already screwing us over. And I tell you, there's a reason why I haven't done certain things in my life, because I refuse to allow the government to control me.
yeah.
And so at the end of the day, I see what's going to happen. I know what's going to happen. The question is, are you ready for what's going to happen? And are you willing to be healed through the pain that's going to take you through that journey?
Yeah, man, I love
And
that idea though. Just an entire stream of income right there, just from pottery and all that.
mhm,
So I've got, I mean, I hate even saying it because I'm like puny compared to you on this. I've got some hearing loss from the military. And
mhm,
so it puts me in the VA system though for disability.
yep.
But man, that makes me think though, the way you're talking about the pottery, a lot of the guys I talk to that have PTSD issues and just my fellow veterans that are having trouble, I could see how I would love to see a bunch of guys as rugged looking as me sitting down at
Mhm,
some potter wheels, just
yep.
just making pottery. That would be
We
cool.
got to braid our beards. We got to
Yeah,
all
yeah, we
braid our
all braid
beards,
our beards and we're just
or
like
put a net
shirtless,
over it.
making proper. That would make an amazing photo.
Oh, it sure would. It sure would. I mean, what the thing is mud. We all came from mud. If we really think about it, Adam came from mud. Yeah, we might have came out of our mother's womb, but we started from mud.
Yeah, in the
And
hands of the
God,
great potter.
exactly. And, and because of that, if we think about that and the way God has really molded us and shaped us through that process, oh man, you don't know what's coming, you
Yeah,
know? And I mean, I've been writing a lot lately. I mean, I've been solo parenting for the last couple of weeks
yeah,
or last couple of days because my wife has been traveling. And solo parenting as a deaf blind person is completely different than I ever realized. I'm like, I gotta feed this kid. I gotta make sure the kid goes to bed. I gotta make sure the kid gets to school. I'm gotta make sure I provide entertainment. I gotta make sure that he's not stealing. He's not lying. I mean, the kid almost burned the house down the other day. I mean, I was like, why would you take a stolen? Why would you steal a phone that's broken and then try to turn it on and plug it into the outlet? Like,
oh man, them things
come
will
on,
light
man.
up.
Yeah, I'm like, we don't need fireworks. You know, that's why there's SeaWorld across the way from our house. You know, you can get all the fireworks over there, man. um, yeah, but I tell you, like when we think about life, we think about life through the lens of what we see. But when we think through life through other senses, we realize there's so much more to life.
Yep.
And I think we get so stuck a lot of times in our lives where we're like, how do we like how can I do that if I can't see?
Yeah.
And for me, I just live my life. I just do. It's not like, and I know people are inspired by me, but I just live my life. And I face a lot of challenges. But like right now, I got an ear infection. I got to figure out how I'm going to reopen my ear to get a
Yeah.
hearing aid back in there to be able to hear. I can't cross the street right now because I can't hear well enough to hear what direction the car is. But I'm still going to cross that street because I'm determined to get to work. Not
Yeah.
work, you got to get done whether I'm there or not. You got to get
Yeah.
done. You know.
I think we all just quit too easy. I mean,
Yeah.
you got to get to work. You got to go. I mean, one way or
Yep.
another.
Yeah.
A lot of times we look for excuses to quit, and we got to do more like you and just go do it.
Yep. Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not easy, but it takes it one day at a time. And I tell people, I mean, Romans 5:34 says, also so, rejoice in your suffering.
Yeah.
Persevere, knowing that perseverance will build a character that has hope in Christ. And that verse has been my life verse since I was 19 years old. Because at that point in my life, anything that was painful, I took the easy way out.
Yep.
But I had to say, oh, I'm going to embrace that blindness. I decided I'm going to take the hard way and just move forward. Who knew what that was going to take me into? And who knew how much pain that was going to have to deal
Yep.
with? But I'm now at a point in my life, I'm like, how much more pain can I have? Can you give me a little bit more, God? I mean, it's kind of sickening when you say it that way, but at the same time, oh, I got so much joy though.
Yeah. Yep.
And so, yeah, I mean, it's really my story, and
Yeah.
I try to live it as authentically as possible. I mean, you'll find me in days where I'm just having a pity party. I mean, before I hopped on here, I was just laying in the bed because my ear hurts so much,
Yeah.
But I knew I was going to do this interview today, get this done, and then I'm going to go to the doctor and get some drops and go take the kids to therapy, come home, and go back to bed and wake up tomorrow. We're going to do this all over again,
Yep. Yeah.
And so,
All right, man. So we covered the cane, the pottery therapy. You mentioned some writing, so that's another stream of income, and I'm guessing you probably do some speaking too, don't you?
I want to. That is a dream
Yeah.
of mine. Is to travel with my potter's wheel, go to different churches and different things, and
Oh my goodness, man! I'm thinking
take
how
pot.
amazing it would be to see you up on a stage speaking while you're doing pottery.
Oh yeah,
Because I've been to live painting things where the speaker would do a painting, but the pottery, man, that's so much more 3D and tactile. And
oh yeah. Well, I'll send you the video that we just. I did my first good Potter public speaking event in March this year.
yeah,
That's the first time I've ever really done something like this, and I loved it so much, but I don't know how to get it to work.
yeah,
And because it's like, all right, I want to. I mean, the box that has to be shipped to go to a church or whatever is 190 pounds. That doesn't
yeah.
go
So
in the
you're
mail
talking a
very
truck.
easily. Yeah, and so it's like, all right, how do I make that work? Because I
You're
mean,
gonna
it
have
would
to
be
invent something so you can drive a big truck.
maybe. I mean, you know what? Hey, there's that. ugly looking Cybertruck, you know.
Oh man, we
Nah.
need to get Elon to sponsor you.
Well, he knows I'm gonna puke out anything that he comes out with, but that's a whole different conversation. I mean, oh man, okay. This is not a conspiracy show. I
Yeah,
promise.
yeah.
I promise.
Hey, we'll do another one though, and we'll warn people beforehand that it's a conspiracy episode.
Yeah, yeah. Well, 'cause if we go down that path, well, man, yeah, it's crazy
Yeah,
because that's why we have to have our hope in Christ. Like, I mean, the conspiracy stuff is real, but at the end of the day, what is the truth, though, is Christ.
yeah, yep,
And at the end of the day, for us to persevere and build a character that has hope, we have to put that joy back into Christ, and He's gonna give us everything we ever needed, no
yeah,
matter how disgusting the world ever gets.
yep,
So,
yep. And he told us it was going to get pretty bad.
yep. So,
Yep.
you're asking some other revenue streams that I try to do. Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, so I have the pottery. I am trying to work on a new program, where um, and we're still kind of ironing out the details. So I have a radio show. Before I, the radio show right now, working on getting some sponsors for that. That is my conspiracy slash deafblind potter show, and it's
Yeah.
all about living beyond your challenges. And then I have my podcast, where it's more of a networking. It's like what you call a passive. It's not quite passive income, but it pays for itself. And
Yeah.
so, but it gets my word out, gets my message out, and the time spent isn't nearly as much as if I and I use different like restream or not restream, resound for editing and so forth, and it does all for me, and then I just send it to a VA. They kind
Yeah.
of slice it up and put it up for me, and it works out. And then, but the one that I'm working on right now, and I'm really, really trying to hoping this becomes my bread and butter for the Deafblind Potter side of things, is a membership um type program, and talking about how do you unlife are you how to not unlife yourself,
Okay.
because you can't say suicide on TikTok.
Yeah.
So so you got to find creative words, but
Yeah.
creating a message, and then create a membership program around that, where I make pieces telling your story.
Okay.
And so like, and so we're kind of figuring out how that's going to work, but by doing that, once a month I would do a piece shattering. So I make a full beautiful piece, and then I'll drop it, and I'll sell you the pieces, because that reminds you of whatever that message is. That's your reminder that you can live beyond your challenges, whatever that message that is. Whether I'm talking Romans 5:34, or I'm doing how Jesus was betrayed, talking about Zacharias, or just different things like that.
Yeah.
And how do you work through that? And then,
Okay.
and so yeah, so it'll be different things like that, and that would be like in a membership, and then, so I'm hoping to really kind of get that to work right, and then, I
I
got a
like your
book.
terminology though about the unlife. I mean, suicide is like the clinical way of saying it,
Yep,
and it just sounds so detached from what
yep,
it actually is. And unlife. I mean, I've never heard it that way before, but I like the vibe that gives off.
yeah. Because I mean, it really is a big issue. I mean, I could go down my porn addiction stuff, but I think at the end of the day, it's going to be really weird for people to relate to me as a blind person with that. So it's
Yeah.
a little bit easier unlifing. And then, really, because at the end of the day, to sell something, you got to be able to tell a good story.
Yeah.
That is what it comes down to.
But you've got an
And
authentic story too.
yeah. And yeah, the other thing that I really want to get into, and I haven't figured out how to do this because I can't see images,
Yep.
is to make shirts. And
Okay.
so, and make really like catchy, um, like have a shirt that says "I'm on a blind date" and it points to the other way, or I said, what was the other one I had the other day? I said, I'm living beyond my challenge, but you're not. And it's creating questionnaire things, and then you have to tell my story.
Yeah.
And so creating these shirts where you get to wear the shirt, so that way you get to tell my story to encourage somebody else to live beyond their challenges.
I like that. I like that. The
And
get your VA working on that, man. She's my VA does my t-shirts for me. She does the
I,
graphics and uploads
I
them.
don't I don't currently have a VA for that. So
I got mine from Ryan.
okay. Well, I'll talk to him tomorrow on Wednesday and see if I can pull something out of him.
Yeah.
But yeah. So yeah, I mean, there's so many ways. And well, I mean, I for me, it's building those processes. That's been my biggest challenge, and that's what Ryan's going to be helping me out with, and building out those processes and making sure I can be successful with it. And also dealing with my limitations. I mean, I'll be
Yeah.
straight. I am a solo entrepreneur,
Yeah.
and my limitations do stop me from being able to do certain things that I would love to do. But it's really, and that's the other thing I've had to really work on in my own life is being okay with letting somebody else do the work.
Yeah. Okay.
And that has been a major struggle for me. Um, the Simi Cane, I used to do all the engineering. I used to do all the 3D printing. Right behind me used to be a 3D printer. Um, and we would do the assembly on the other side of the room. And I used to do it all. But I outsourced that, kept moving that forward. And now I got to do that with the Deaf Blind Potter because it's growing. And
Yeah.
but that is my baby though. It's
Oh
like,
yeah.
why would I want somebody else to play with my baby? But
Yeah.
I'm realizing though, but I'm hindering so many lives by holding it in my hands, and because of my limitations, I'm holding it back.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the
And
hardest thing for me too. Like everybody says you got to delegate, and man, there's so many things I don't need to do, but I don't want to take my hands off of.
yeah, yeah. Well, and I think that's where I love showing up and everything working, but when you get somebody to drop the ball on you, what do you do next? You know,
Yeah.
and that's the part that I hate when people fail me. Um, but how often do people fail us? I mean, Jesus had everybody fail on him. When we
Yeah.
when we look at it from that perspective, like okay, well, I can forgive again. I guess. I guess I can keep forgiving and just keep forgiving. Well, but that hurts.
Yeah. Oh
You
yeah.
know,
Yep.
it hurts, and so
Yeah.
yeah, so
All right, man. So I tell you what, as we close out, because I want to free you up, man, so you can go get you a nap and get some rest. Um, but how do you want people to get in touch with you? And I'll put all this in the show notes too. But what's all your websites and like TikTok
yeah,
handle, all that stuff?
yeah. So everything deaf blind Potter on
Deaf
all
Blind
social.
Potter.
Yeah, one word all together, no spaces. You can put the at sign, whatever, on all platforms. And then if you want to see updates on the See Me Kane stuff, that is See Me Kane on YouTube. Um, if you want to check out the See Me Kane website, it's seemekane.com. And then the Deafblind Potter website is deafblindpotter.com. My radio show is called the deafblindpottershow.com. And my podcast is called Perseverance Podcast. So anywhere you get your podcast, you type in Perseverance Podcast, it'll be right there with two giant PPs. No, we're not PPing. I just love to say that though. uh, and but you'll be amazed what you'll find at the Perseverance Podcast. You'll
Yeah.
literally get to see me interview people that have persevered through their challenges. And like I just interviewed a lady that just came out of a 20-year cult,
Oh,
and how she navigating that now. And it's been
yeah.
10 years since she's been out, but she's still dealing with the trauma, and she's just now talking about it. And so yeah, Perseverance Podcast is my special place. You get to
Okay.
hear all the updates there too. So
Yeah. All right,
yeah.
man. I'll put all this in the show notes because I want to send as many people to you as we can so that we can get that cane funded.
Yep. Yep. And yeah, if you want to email me, you can email me at we'll just do contact at um deafblindpotter.com.
Okay. Contact at deafblindpotter.com.
Yep.
All right, man. Well, I'm
So
going to go ahead and wrap this up. And tell you what, though, I'm looking forward to attending one of your classes sometimes because I've never made pottery before, and it'd be cool to try.
I think it'll be awesome. I look forward to it, and we gotta get the dream to activate though. That's the
Yeah.
first thing. We gotta find some land, put a piece of building on it. Hopefully, the building there, and then start digging, and figuring out how to fire that clay and make it work, and
Yeah,
have fun with
man.
it.
That's gonna be pretty cool.
So yeah, man.
Yeah, well, Kelvin, man, thanks for joining me. I'll be perfectly honest with you, man. With the tech and everything, I had no idea how this was going to go, like how it would work. And
Well,
this has been so much fun.
you're very lucky that I'm in my radio recording studio. So
Yeah.
so I have all my equipment really nice dialed in, and my audio works well and everything. So yeah. So all right, man. Well, for me, when I sign out, I always say, go live beyond your challenges, and I'll see you next time.
Oh man, that's a perfect way. I'm gonna go ahead and stop the recording on that, man. It was good seeing you.
All right, you too.
You couldn't see me though, but it was good seeing you. All right,
Yeah.
man. You take care.
All right. You have a good one, man.
All right. So one of the things I wanted to start doing when I wrap up these podcasts is mentioning one of my streams of income. Couple of reasons. It's not just to make more money, although that's a very good reason. It's a very valid one. So number one, maybe not the main thing, but it is. Hey, so you will check out my streams of income and maybe send me some. As my friend Todd calls it, certificates of appreciation. You appreciate what I'm making, what I'm creating, and you send me certificates that look like money. And so that's one of the reasons. The second one is I'm hoping that it inspires you to have a stream of income. You see something that worked for me, maybe it piques your interest. That's what most of these interviews are for, just to expose you to so many different streams that you might find your calling within one of these or get an idea from one of these for your calling. And so today, the thing I'll mention is just the shirt that you almost always see me wearing. Let me just move the screen there. And so, moving the wrong way. All right, so if you see in the YouTube version, you can see the shirt. If you're listening to this in audio, go to one of the links in my in the show notes, and you can see the shirts. And so that's the Rugged Dad logo. It is basically a big, bald, bearded man, myself, riding on a bear. And so I have excuse me. Oh, goodness. I coughed right on. Yeah. All right. So I have an account on Spreadshirt where I sell t-shirt designs that I come up with, my business logos, things like that. There's some really funny t-shirts on there, like things that deal with rats on Cheetos or waterboarding. You just got to take my word for it. Maybe that made you curious and you want to check it out. So go there. My Spreadshirt account web. Oh man, I don't know why I'm getting so tongue-tied right now. I just finished recording a podcast and did perfectly fine. And now I'm talking about myself and making a mess of it. But I will put the link in the show notes. So go buy some of my merch. It's like a lot of those print-on-demand merch sites where you can get a t-shirt, tank top, hoodie, mug, tote bag, apron, pretty much anything you want, you can have the design. So, there's lots of designs on there. So check it out. So that's one of my streams of income is just printing merch based on my designs and my business logos and things like that. So hope you all enjoy it. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the after show snippets. Little extras, little things not related to the interview, not necessarily related to the person, but things that I want to get across, things people have asked me, whatever. It's an extra. It's a bonus for you. I hope you're still here. Hey, you've heard me talk about industry magazines before, how you can get them free. And don't forget that tip. Find any industry that you're interested in, involved in, and go online and just search for industry trade magazines and then insert your industry name. I'm reading another article here from Successful Farming Magazine because, as I've mentioned before, I live on a small farm. And so I like to get some neat ideas from this. But I also get some amazing streams of income ideas. I wanted to talk this time about Deanne Frieders. And I thought this was a really interesting article because it involves food. And so anytime there's food involved in just about anything, oh my goodness, distracted myself. On the next page, there is a cheeseburger slide. It's her cheeseburger slider recipe, and these look good. It's making me hungry right now. It's almost lunchtime, or not almost. It should be lunchtime, like lunch number one. But let's get back to this. Let's quit chasing squirrels and cheeseburger sliders and get back to the article. So this is her platform is This Farm Girl Cooks, and so I thought this was a really interesting story. And so let's see, she's got a cookbook, recipe cards, website, podcast, email newsletter, social media following. And before you ask and before you comment, I'm going to try to get her on an interview and talk to her about all this because she sounds pretty amazing. And so let's see, she reaches tens of thousands of home cooks every month, sharing recipes, wit, and wisdom. All right, so listen to this though. I love how these stories never start out picture perfect. It's not like she grew up in a farm kitchen, learning all this from grandma and mama and all that kind of stuff. While she has mastered the art of the field meal, and if you're not sure what a field meal is, basically just quick, short meals for the farmers that are out working in the field. And we're talking big farms. We're talking farms where if they took time to get from way out in the field back to the house for lunch, they'd lose too much of their workday. And so generally these field meals are delivered to them out in the middle of the field where they're sitting and just in the shade of the combine machinery or whatever they're working on, under the tractor where they can catch a bit of rest out of the sunlight. That's where the field meals are delivered. So they have to be eaten easy, easy, quick, not much silverware, that kind of thing. So let's see. She didn't learn how planting and harvest affect mealtime until her late 30s, when she left her corporate job in the suburbs and married her husband, a seventh-generation farmer in northern Illinois. Now, that story alone is pretty cool. A seventh-generation farmer. The couple grow corn and soybeans with his parents and have a small herd of cattle. This quote from her: "I didn't grow up on a farm. I grew up in a rural community, but really didn't pay much attention to the corn growing at the end of the street. Now I'm a farmer, and I'm living that lifestyle and everything that goes with it." So she got her start doing these farm-friendly recipes in 2013 when her husband asked if she could help make field meals. And she says, "I didn't really know what a field meal was. So I asked and didn't really get much more information." So through trial and error, I was able to figure out it's something that doesn't require a knife, and you have to be able to serve it up right away or it might need to sit for a few hours. It's helpful if it's handheld or can even be eaten while driving. These sound like the field meals we used to get when I was on deployment. And, mostly at MREs or whatever we carried in a pack, but every now and then the food trucks would come out there and have some field meals, and pretty amazing. And for a farmer or a military guy out in the field, you cannot imagine the morale booster that a warm meal in the middle of the day out in the woods or the jungle or the field can be. I mean, it can be the pick-me-up that gets you through the rest of the day. All right, so she says, "My food blog evolved out of my trials and tribulations, figuring that out and sharing recipes with my friends and the rest of the community. In 2016, I made it official and came up with This Farm Girl Cooks." That's the website also, This Farm Girl Cooks. The website has an entire section dedicated to field meals. Let's see. I always challenge people to sit and eat if they can stop the tractors for 15 minutes. Then they can get a few more wholesome things into their body since they're working those long hours. I thought that was pretty awesome. And she actually, you're talking most field meals for farmers are probably just maybe leftovers from breakfast, like a sausage biscuit, maybe just a cold roast beef sandwich. Who knows? But this lady is talking about cheeseburger sliders. She says for Oktoberfest, generally in the October time, she'll do sauerbraten, German potato salad, and anything else with that fall German vibe. I mean, she is, as Gordon Ramsay would say, she is elevating the field meal. And so she seems like a pretty cool girl. And I say that because she's younger than me, I think. And so anybody younger than me is not old. While the website started as a simple way to share recipes with friends, it's become a new career. Let's see, I set up my website not realizing it could be a revenue stream. I love when things like that happen. Some of us work so hard at setting up streams of income and waiting on the revenue. And I love hearing stories, and don't think it's going to always happen for you that way. But I do love hearing the stories where people just do something for fun or for a hobby or whatever. And then it's like, oh, I'm making money. I could quit my job because of this hobby. It's amazing. So let's see, I set up my website. It just happened very organically. I didn't know exactly what I was doing. Sometimes that's best. I remember saying to my husband, people make money doing this. We were trying to figure out what we were going to do for extra income as the kids got older. I realized there was a future in it, and now it's my full-time gig. So she talks a little bit in here about how she felt, the isolation when she quit a corporate job, went to the farm full time, all that kind of stuff, and because of the community she's developed, she doesn't feel so lonely anymore because she's fellowshipping and in community with other women just like her, but also she's meeting so many other people through the thing that she's created. She still helps her husband and in-laws on the farm and has honed some valuable skills. Let's see. Oh, one year Ryan tried to teach me how to drive the grain cart, and they unload on the go. I'd never driven a tractor. I had driven a lawnmower, but this didn't go very well. I took a year off, tried it again the following year, and now I can do it. So she's driving things I've never messed with myself. Let's see. While farming may not have always come naturally to her, cooking has. And so, okay, so she does have a little bit of mom teaching me how to cook story, but mom didn't teach her the field meals. And her husband didn't give her much information on that. She developed that all on her own. So I thought that was pretty cool. I'll put the link and everything into the show notes. Check her out if you're interested in, not just the field meals, but cooking, farming, how to start a business by accident, all kinds of things. So be sure to. Hey everybody, how you doing? I don't know when you're going to be watching this. You may be watching it right now. I mean, time is relative in many ways, but I just wrapped up the holidays. And for a very special Christmas gift to all the groups that I run, my email newsletter, the Passive Income Engines private membership group, the Streams of Income Facebook group, and tons of groups, even my prepper business, Prepared. Those folks over there, I just ran a special Christmas thing, and anybody that would email me back and tell me a little more about themselves, because I'm wanting to get to know everyone, I sent them a bundle of books. And so I just wanted to kind of report to you that over the holidays, I ran it from mid-December until just after the first of the year. I gave away hundreds and hundreds of business, motivational, and prepping books, and just emailed those out to folks. And all they had to do was just tell me a little bit about themselves, maybe what some of their goals were, especially in the business groups, what was their big goal for the year. And so I kind of wanted to extend a version of that. I can't give away that big bundle. I mean, it was like 6 books for free to each person. I can't give away that much all at once, all the time. But here's the thing. Comment back, whether you're watching this on YouTube or you want to email me, all the links and everything are in the show notes, wherever you're watching this. Comment back. Tell me a little bit about yourself, what you like about the podcast, what you don't like. Just be nice. I'll cry. You don't want me doing that on air. I am an ugly crier. And I tell you what, you do that. And because I want to get to know you, and I'll send you a book, but I've got a good one in mind. It is like the perfect book to get jump started on New Year's resolutions, mid-year's resolutions, February, March, April resolutions. Anytime you want to get a jump start on making some change in your life, this book, I guarantee, will be awesome for you. So comment back. I want to send you a free book and want to get to know everybody just a little bit more, because I think it's awesome. I think you guys are awesome. And together, I mean, this awesome guy and all you awesome people, we can just do some amazing, awesome things.